Welcome back to the latest NC Sports Weekly News. And it's another action-packed edition. Now on the agenda. Vive La France, Antoine Albeau, the legend, is crowned a PWA Slalom World Champion for an astonishing 9th time since 2006 in New Caledonia, while compatriot Delphine Cousin takes her 2nd consecutive world title amongst the ladies. Volvo Ocean Race update. First, with a tour of Good Hope with Senior Correspondent Sebastien Destremau in South Africa. And then, leg 2 to Abu Dhabi is now full on, the complete position report from the Indian Ocean. Carella and Torrente have been warned. Philippe Chiap wins the Abu Dhabi GP and now takes the lead in the F1 H2O World Championship. The Associated Press leaks the big story and spoils the surprise. Bermuda has been chosen over San Diego as venue for America's Cup 35. Confirmation is awaited, but the controversy has already begun. NC Sports, plunge into the action. France's windsurfing movement continues to set the pace on the pro circuit as Antoine Albeau and Delphine Cousin held their PWA Slalom World Championship crowns in New Caledonia last Sunday. The men's title had in fact been a French affair throughout 2014 between Cyril Moussolimani, Pierre Morfond, and Albeau, with a closing chapter being written here in a paradise called Nomea, and it will all come down to the last race of the year.
It was like at the beginning, the same that at the beginning of the week. It was super tight. I had like a little bit more than 3.5 points, better than Cyril, and so he had the only option that to win the final and me finish out of the top 3. So I think he pushed a little bit, but I was also.
On Cevata Beach, however, it was Holland's Ben van der Steen that dominated this last event of the season from the early rounds all the way to the final heat, leaving just the scraps for the top rank. The Flying Dutchman was simply too quick off the blocks for the rest of the fleet, but Albeau hung on to 2nd place, while Moussolimani and Morfond slipped respectively into 5th and 8th positions. The 42-year-old veteran Albeau already came into the event resting on 2 season victories and a substantial lead on the overall scoreboard. With yet another huge result here, he has now secured his 9th PWA Slalom World title since 2006. On the ladies' course, Delphine Cousin also arrived in New Caledonia leading the series to battle it out with Turkey's Lena Erdil and freestyle champion Sarakito Fringa from Aruba. The last 2 races were decisive, and with a 2nd place in Regatta 13 and another win on race 14, Delphine ultimately secured her 2nd consecutive PWA Slalom World title.
It was a very great event. I'm really happy to win the first race of the event and the last one, the 14th race. So very nice event, very windy, and I couldn't finish the year better than that. So super happy.
Being in Cape Town, South Africa, maybe we should play the tourist a little bit and go for a little tour. So you coming?
So today it's about visiting. Of course, as you are a very well-prepared tourist, you begin the journey by getting completely lost in the city. Well, never mind. Situated at about 50 km south of the city, Good Hope is a must-see for all sailors who are visiting Cape Town. The drive is very nice and alternates between very narrow roads along the mountains, followed by some great ride down to beautiful beaches. Everywhere, you are warned to be very careful about the baboons crossing the road. Extremely aggressive, it is strongly recommended to keep your distance. When lunchtime comes, well, your best bet is to stop at the local shop. They'll serve you the typical dish called paps and sauce with chicken, which is very much like ugali you can find in Kenya. When arriving at the famous Cape, you learn that the Cape of Good Hope is not the southernmost point of Africa, nor the dividing point between the Atlantic and Indian Ocean. However, when you follow the coast from the equator, the Cape of Good Hope marks the important point where you begin to sail eastward rather than southward. You're watching the Sailing Updates Desktop News. Welcome to the office. An office at the very end of the South African continent. I am right here in Cape of Good Hope. Behind me is the ocean, and after that it's Antarctica.
A few hours after the Leg 2 spectacular restart, the 7 strong competitors of the Volvo Ocean Race, as well as the 140,000 virtual regatta players, sailed around this cape to go to Abu Dhabi.
As expected, it was a glorious start in Cape Town last week for Leg 2, as the South African city put on a spectacular farewell for the sailors of the Volvo Ocean Race. In this early phase, after passing Good Hope, the fleet then pushed hard eastward and soon engaged in a demanding jibing battle on the border of the Roaring Forties, deep in the Indian Ocean. It was clear from the start that this would be a very tough beginning for the teams now facing over 6,000 nautical miles to the finish line in Abu Dhabi, as competitors immediately felt the powerful effects of a huge depression off the coast of Antarctica. Looking for a comeback, the Americans on Alvimedica, and especially Spanish team Mafre, after their dismal Leg 1 performance, attacked early on the northern front, together with the Franco-Chinese on Dongfang, now in second place overall and among the favorites at this edition of the VOR. Chasing Abu Dhabi, Danish team Vestas and team SCA stayed south, at least until Leg 1 winner and leader Ian Walker first went to the cross to Mark Bruno team, and then jibed north once more to pick a solitary westerly option. Once again, tightly packed, the fleet is now tackling lighter winds off the coast of Madagascar, as navigators and tacticians grapple with a vast high-pressure system in the Indian Ocean in search for the best option. Under this new one design formula, racing has become ever more tight, turning the regatta into a sort of elimination game where no one really pulls away. Theoretically, east would pay better dividends, but on the water, it's always a whole different scenario. As this edition goes to air, Abu Dhabi is the only team keeping a westerly route, while Brunel narrowly leads a reassembled pack up the middle, and instead, slightly to the east, Team SCA is trailing by just a few miles. On a side note, the piracy threats that hampered the last edition of the VOR will not shorten the leg this time, since safety is ensured by the wide perimeter of the East African exclusion zone, reaching from the tip of Madagascar to the Persian Gulf. More updates on the next NC Sports, and for the complete take on this extraordinary round-the-world adventure, tune in to Nautical Channel for official Volvo Ocean Race coverage. Every Sunday at 9 p.m. While some make their way to the Emirates, others instead are already there. Just ask Philippe Chiappe of CITC China, who dominated the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix from start to finish over the weekend and hopped up to the very top of the overall UIM F1 H2O leaderboard. The Frenchman was unstoppable with the best total time in the qualifiers and has now ousted Italy's reigning world champion Alex Carella of Qatar team. With a 47.60, Chiappe also posted the fastest of the 37 laps in the race and crossed the finish line 6 seconds ahead of USA's Sean Torrente and another 30 seconds ahead of local star Ahmed Alameli on Abu Dhabi team. Closing in 5th position, Alex Carrera has now lost 2 match points to seal his 4th World Championship title and now needs a superlative performance because this will be a 3-way finish all the way to the end. It all goes down to the last event of the season for the F1 H2O class, as teams will meet on the Khalid Lagoon in late December for the 15th edition of the Sharia GP. Be there with NC Sports. A recent leak by the Associated Press has apparently spoiled the party for defender Larry Ellison since news of Bermuda being designated over San Diego as venue for the 35th America's Cup rippled through the global media outlets at the end of last week. America's Cup management had in fact officially confirmed the Caribbean island as a regular World Series stopover for October 2015 and to be raced on the smaller and now foiling AC-45. Few, however, would have anticipated that the big event in 2017 on the AC-62s would, or could, be held so far away from the large crowd. So much for that official press conference scheduled for next December 2nd in New York, as the surprise factor apparently is now gone, and it's time for crisis management all over again. According to AP, it boils down to a better tax climate for all involved, teams included. Conversely, critics like Grant Dalton have already voiced their strong opposition in the recent past, arguing that the geographic and demographic limitations of such a remote location is detrimental to their sponsors' and marketing objectives. While the AP leak is based on a reliable source that wished to stay anonymous, it still awaits official confirmation. Yet one thing is clear. A new Pandora's box of controversies has just been opened for the next America's Cup, number 35. More development in the upcoming NC Sports edition. We're almost there. Take note, from December 6th to the 14th, the world-famous Paris boat show, the Nautica 2014, will be showcasing the very best in sailing, power, accessories, services, and so much more. Hop on board as the Nautical Channel team will be on site at the Porte de Versailles to feel the pulse of the industry and show you what's in store for 2015. Time is up, but there's always more. Get your front row seat in paradise and catch the full extended coverage of the PWA Nomea World Cup on the next NC Sports Buzz with complete interviews and highlights, premiering this Saturday at 5 p.m. only on Nautical Channel. Plunge into the action with NC Sports.